All right, today we're going to deconstruct competition. We're going to pull back the curtain on why some businesses just seem to win while others struggle, using a seriously powerful tool, Porter's 5 forces. I mean, you've seen it, right? You ever stop and wonder why certain companies, the Amazons, the Walmarts, the Googles of the world, just seem to have this unbreakable hold on their industries? How in the world do they do that? Well, the easy answer, the one most people give, is that they're just better. They're better at crushing their direct competitors. But you know what? If you think competition is just a one-on-one fight, you're missing a huge part of the picture. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at the real shape of competition. We'll break down the 5 forces framework itself, then we'll make it super simple with a pizza business example, see how it all works in the digital age, and wrap up with a big strategic takeaway for you. Okay, first up, the real shape of competition. You see, to really understand what's going on, you need the right map. You have to see the entire battlefield, not just the opponent standing right in front of you. And that's the whole idea behind this framework from Harvard Business School's Michael Porter. He said that to really succeed, a business has to deal with competitive pressure coming from 5 different directions. It's not a duel. It's more like a 5-front war. And this diagram? This is the map. See, right in the middle, you've got the rivalry we all think about. But look at all the other pressures squeezing in from the outside. You've got new players trying to get in, powerful suppliers, demanding customers, and these sneaky substitute products. All 5 of these together really determine the winners and losers in any industry. Okay, so that's the theory. To make this really click, let's ground it in something we can all wrap our heads around. A good old-fashioned local pizza shop. First force on our list, the threat of new entrants. This is pretty straightforward. It's all about how easy it is for someone new to just waltz into your market and start stealing your customers. We call the things that make it hard barriers to entry. Low barriers mean high threat. It's that simple. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. You want to start a pizza business? It's relatively easy, right? The barriers are pretty low. But what if you wanted to start making computer chips? Whoa, you'd need billions of dollars, crazy specialized knowledge. The barriers are like a fortress. The threat of someone new popping up is practically zero. Okay, force number 2 is the threat of substitutes. And listen, this is a really critical point. A substitute is not another pizza place down the street. It's a totally different thing that solves the same basic problem. In this case, I'm hungry and I want something fast and easy. Think about it like this, right? If flights get too expensive, what's the substitute? Taking a road trip. A fancy steak dinner? Maybe you just get some burgers instead. And for our little pizza shop, the real substitutes are things like tacos, or burgers, or even somebody deciding, you know what, I'll just grab a frozen pizza at the grocery store. The third force is the bargaining power of your customers. Basically, how much power do your buyers have to push you around? Can they just force you and all your competitors to drop your prices and fight it out? So, customer power just skyrockets when people have tons of choices, and it's easy for them to switch. The classic example is the market for textbooks. The second the internet made all the prices completely transparent, students could instantly find the absolute cheapest option online. Boom! That gave them massive power and totally changed the game for bookstores. Now let's just flip that coin over for our 4th force, the bargaining power of suppliers. This time, we're talking about the people who sell you stuff. Your flour, your cheese, your tomato sauce. How much power do they have to raise their prices on you and squeeze your profits? Supplier power gets really high when you don't have many to choose from, or when the thing they're selling you is absolutely essential. For our pizza shop, just imagine there's only one farm in the whole region that makes that incredible mozzarella cheese everyone loves. Well, that one farm has a ton of bargaining power over you. And that brings us right back to the center of the model, the 5th and final force, rivalry. This is the one everybody knows. This is the head-to-head, day-in, day-out battle with the other pizza shops in town. And that rivalry gets super intense when there are a ton of competitors, when everybody's product is basically the same, and when the only real way to win is to have the lowest price. Just think about the grocery store business. It's a brutal, constant war over a few pennies. That is a sign of extremely high rivalry. So, okay, we've mapped out the 5 fronts of this war. Now for the most important part. How do you fight back? Let's talk strategy, especially for how things work in our digital world today. And this is where the model goes from being just a theory to a real action plan. You can see the direct line between the force and your strategy. If rivalry is crazy high, then you need to differentiate. Make a unique gourmet pizza nobody else has. If customers have all the power, you've got to be the low-cost leader. To stop new people from entering, you create a killer loyalty program that makes it really painful for customers to switch. And here is probably the most important point for any business operating right now. The internet didn't create new forces. It didn't change the rules of the game. What it did was act like a giant megaphone, amplifying all 5 of these forces like crazy. And this table shows you exactly how. For new entrants, a website is way cheaper than a brick-and-mortar store, so the barriers to entry just dropped. For customers, the internet gives them global information on prices, massively increasing their power. New digital substitutes, they can pop up overnight. And rivalry gets worse because your competition isn't just local anymore, it's global. All right, let's bring it all home. After looking at all of this, what's the one big thing you really need to take away from this framework? It's this. Porter's model is so much more than a business school theory. It is a universal map for strategic thinking. Once you understand the complete structure of the competition around you, you can stop just reacting and start proactively choosing a position in your industry where these forces are weakest. And that right there is the real key to long-term success. So that leaves me with one final question for you. Think about your own job, your own company, or maybe an industry that you're just really into. What are the 5 forces that are shaping its future right now? Because answering that question, well, that's the first step to building a truly winning strategy.